I had the van, I put the piano inside, and I started to drive. I was like, looking behind me. The piano is still here. I'm driving my own van with my fucking piano. And it's not always as easy as it may seem. So what I feel I need for myself is also what I want to offer to others. You know, it's like take a moment, take a breath.
Hello and welcome to another Brett Moran podcast. I'm really excited about our special guest today. Our special guest is actually an author of this book, My Traveling Piano, Around the World with a Piano. And I can't actually see that line now. I can't read it because it's actually in German, so I'm just guessing that. We'll ask him in a minute. Anyway, his name is Joe, and I'm really inspired to speak to Joe because he has literally traveled around the world with a piano. We're not talking about like a little keyboard or some little software. We're talking about a real life piano. So I'm really excited to have a chat with Joe and ask him how he created that level of freedom and not only traveling around the world or solo around the world, but taking a piano with him. And as you guys know, this podcast is all about having conscious conversations with coconuts to inspire you guys to either follow your dreams, make those changes that you've been secretly dreaming about making, and live your best life. So without further ado, Joe, how's it going, my friend? Did you bring your piano?
Super good. I didn't because I knew you had one.
I've actually got a piano over there, right? Yeah. Just for people at home, whether they're listening to the podcast on audio or on YouTube, they can see us. It's literally a real life-size piano. It's a normal piano, right?
Right. Yeah. So there's a little. I have not only one. So I have one in my camper van in Germany, which is a full-size upright piano on wheels.
Brilliant.
With an engine.
No way. See, the engine kind of drives the piano.
Yes. So I can sit on top of the piano and drive it like a little go-kart.
Amazing.
I can also like drive the piano and play. It's also possible. And and then because it's really difficult to bring it overseas in the plane because it's 800 pounds, 450 kilogram. I bought another one that I use here in Thailand, and it's a little small grand piano.
That's actually the first time I ever saw you or heard of you. I was invited to a temple a few years ago, way before COVID, and it was you and the Kopang Choir, and it was this beautiful Buddhist temple, and you was just playing, and some guy proposed to his girlfriend to get remembered. Do you remember?
I remember?
And I just remember you playing the piano, and I'm getting goosebumps now. I was like, it was so special, Joe. Yeah, it was amazing.
You.
So you're the author of this book as well, My Traveling Piano.
Yes.
Tell me your story, man. Like, what inspired you to travel around the world with a bloody piano?
Well, I guess I got to start a little bit earlier. So, I went like the normal path that I think lots of us are going, and I was in the corporate world. I actually used to work at BMW.
Okay.
And I did an apprenticeship there for 3 years. The story kind of began when I took my father's car for a year to go to France. There's a picture
of that on this book.
Exactly,
right? BMW. I can see it right here. It's an old-fashioned BMW.
Exactly, like a 524 TD turbo diesel from, I think it was 1984. And I had that when I was in France, and I fell in love with the car also,
Nice.
I mean, I guess I fell in love more with the freedom that the car gave me, but I might have like mistaken it a little bit for the manufacturer of the car. So I was like, okay, I didn't really know what to do with my life back then. I was like 19, 20, and I had really no idea. And so I decided to go to BMW and do an apprenticeship with them. And it wasn't really very inspiring. I was sitting in the office, doing boring office work, like every day the same, very like kind of stupid tasks you have to do over and over. And I was like, well, this is not what I imagined. This is not the freedom that I felt when I was driving the BMW. So after that, I went on a round the world trip
Without the piano?
Without the piano.
Okay.
But because I have played my piano my whole life, and I've played in choirs, I have played in weddings and theater groups and stuff like this. And so I went on the round the world trip with my ability to play piano and with the wish to somehow combine that, the traveling and the piano. And so what I did, I played in places all over the world, like hotels and restaurants, anywhere where I could find a piano.
Yeah.
But it was difficult because people were not like waiting for Joe from Germany to come and
He's
play.
arrived.
So it was, and So it took a little bit of time to think, like, what do I want to do? How do I want to? I mean, the round the world trip really changed my life, like completely, and it opened my eyes to everything that's possible. All the people you meet, you know. I mean, you know it. You're a traveler.
Yeah. I think for people at home listening, before we kind of go into that bit, like that's such a good point to make. You mentioned two words. Number one, freedom and traveling. And I think the point to make is like when you go traveling, not only do you have that sense of freedom, but you get to meet such cool people. Like it's amazing, right? And it opens your eyes to new cultures, different kind of environments. And that for me is just priceless. Was that the same kind of experience for you?
Absolutely. So when people ask me, what do I recommend? I recommend like the first thing, like go out, take time out and go traveling.
Yeah.
Because it opens your mind, it like, to all the possibilities, to the people out there, to like new ways of living. And totally.
Because when you're at home, like you say, that going to a normal job 9 till 5 or working in a BMW factory, or I used to work in factories, it's just your whole life. And you think that's the only way there is at that time, right?
Yes.
And then you see this, like now, all I can see is opportunities everywhere, and people make money or travel around the world with a piano, doing all these crazy things. And you're like, wow. But when you're in that kind of prison, that box, you really don't see that, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you really, because you in that moment you have no idea that all this outside world exists, right? And sometimes it still happens to me nowadays, right? I'm like, I don't know, we are here on Kupangan, but then still like you're like, oh wait, there's all this outside world, like maybe. It's like worth going outside a little bit more again.
We're in a bubble here, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. So now, I this feeling is definitely prevalent, like a lot, I think, for people, even for myself sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes I go down to the juice corner, where T's juice corner is, and like on Koh Phangan, there's this little corner where everyone goes and has a juice, and I'd sit there probably about a year ago, and I remember sitting there one day, and it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'd just been on Happy Beach having a run up and down. I went for my normal juice, and 1 minute I'm having a conversation about crypto coins with some guy.
Yeah.
The next minute I'm having a tantra conversation with some woman, and then like 5 minutes later I'm having a conversation with somebody that's kind of like really channeling aliens.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I walked home and I was like, what an island! Like, you get to meet so many different cool people and have such random conversations. Yeah. So I agree. Yeah, traveling is definitely eye-opening and kind of heart-opening, right? So coming back to your story, then. You travelled around the world. You without your piano, like what? You went home and decided that I was going to take a piano around the world with you.
Well, it was kind of on my travels, like on the round the world trip. This kind of like slowly the idea was born to maybe could I like somehow take my own piano on the road, But it was like, oh, it's not possible. Basically, that's kind of what stuck in my mind. It's a shame I don't play guitar because I cannot take the piano. So I kind of carried that limiting belief with me like a long time.
How long?
Probably for a year.
Yeah.
For a year. And then I went to Bali, or maybe I think 2 years later, I went to Bali on another trip, and I still carried this idea with me, and it kind of like grew on me, and like I was, but still like not really sure about it. And then I was sitting in one night. I was sitting in a restaurant, and there was nobody there except one woman. And she looked really interesting. And there were all these doubts of like, should I speak to her? I wanted to speak to her, but I don't know. I felt like uncomfortable. Maybe I didn't want to disturb her or whatever. But then I did, and we had this really beautiful conversation. And I ended up like telling her about the idea that I had, and she got so like inspired by the idea, or like she loved that idea so much. She's like, this is amazing. And so we got this whole conversation about like what could be done with that, and all the amazing places where it could play with the piano, and how it could all look like. And that evening, like another example of like traveling and meeting someone, right? But that evening inspired me so much that I actually that night decided, okay, this is actually what I'm going to do.
Man, I love that. Yeah. And I love that how for, again, people that are listening at home, they might be stuck in that job at the moment. They might have this crazy idea to do something like start a business, travel around the world. But I guarantee they've probably got all the doubts and limiting beliefs like you've had. I've had thousands of them. And like, we get stuck in that for a year or a couple of years, or some people for a lifetime.
Right.
And I just want to say that's a normal part of the process. You've got this great idea. The universe has given you this gift, this inspiration. Yeah. But then this little voice in their head's like, it starts to be a bit logical. How can you travel around the world with a piano? Which is pretty actually a very good logical thing to think. Yes. But then because you're traveling and you also overcome your fear to talk to this woman, or that sort of insecure feeling that we all get, she turns out to be your kind of like the lady out of the Matrix, where she guides Neo to the next step. She kind of guides you and like fills you more with inspiration. So you went home and then you...
Well, basically that was 2009, I believe. or 8. So there were basically no smartphones at that time, or like the iPhone had just been presented, you know. So people were not like sitting in the cafes with their smartphone. So if you wanted to go to the internet, you had to go to an internet cafe, right?
Yeah.
So that same night, it was like midnight. And there was one internet cafe that was in Ubud. It was still open, so I went to that cafe and like typed in like My Traveling Piano and actually bought my URL that day. MyTravelingPiano.com.
And that's the title of the book, My Traveling Piano.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So it was all, and then I went home and I made this like mind map and I wrote it all down, like all the ideas and all the things. And the book was in it already in the mind map, you know. And then like 10 years later, it got published. And so yeah, that was so special that night, or how it all like kind of led to that, and to have it all like mapped out in front of me, the things that I would be going to do in the next next few years.
I love that, man. So it's important to have a vision. And you even said there it took like 10 years for this book to manifest into a reality, right? A lot of people have ideas and visions, but they might give up on the first obstacle, or that doubt kicks in. So they kind of, it does take time. It doesn't happen overnight, right?
And also I needed to collect the stories first to be able to write about them in the book, right? I mean, there's so many stories happened in these 10 years,
Yeah. What would you say was one of the most craziest stories with you traveling around the world with your piano? Guys, I know you're enjoying the video, but I've got a quick question for you. Are you okay with that monkey mind being a monkey? We've all got this voice inside the head, or voices filled with self-doubt, criticism, judgment. But most people don't understand how important it is to master that monkey mind. So look, if you've got a monkey mind or a voice that is just busy inside your head and it never seems to shut up, I know exactly how you feel. And thankfully, I found meditation about 20 years ago. And so, I have an amazing opportunity for you. It's the Bodhi Meditation Teacher Training Program. This 10-week program is designed to share with you 8 Bodhi meditations. And the amazing thing about these meditations is that they are scientifically proven to help you reduce stress, reduce anxiety, uplift your mood, boost your energy. In other words, create that kind of lifestyle, that energy and that health and that happiness that most people crave. Over the course of 10 weeks, I'm going to be your meditation coach. And at the end of this course, you're going to become a certified Bodhi meditation teacher. That means that you can coach people one-to-one, you can work from anywhere in the world, build online courses, or even teach meditation at yoga retreats or anywhere you decide. So click that link below and together will open up your heart so that you wake up feeling positive and literally this buzz for life. The link is below. Now you can get back to your video. Have an amazing day.
There's really like so many stories, but one that was really really interesting. Okay, this is kind of a long story, but I'm trying to make it short.
Yeah.
So I had the dream, like after I've traveled around the piano throughout Europe, lots of different countries, I had the dream to like explore Asia, and had the dream of playing in Japan. And I wanted to combine the music with nature events. Like,
beautiful.
And in Japan, they celebrate the cherry blossom. Mm-hmm. Like, have you ever been to Japan?
No, I've never, but I actually want to go there for that.
Right. Yeah.
It looks beautiful. I've seen the pictures.
It's incredible. Yeah. And the Japanese go absolutely mental, crazy about it. Like, they love those cherry blossoms, and on TV every day they report where's the cherry blossom today, and all that stuff. And they go like in like tens, maybe hundreds of thousands. They flock into the parks and like admire the cherry blossom, and then they go to the next one. It's like a whole thing, for them, and a very important time of the year. So I wanted to go there and play my piano concerts, or play piano under the cherry blossom.
Wow.
And I had this vision in my mind. I was like, oh yeah, great. I'm going to go. They're Japanese, they love German culture. So they're going to love that I'm German. They're going to love the piano, and then combined with the cherry blossom, it's just going to be so amazing. And all these people like standing around, and like, that was kind of my vision, right? And it didn't really happen. So sometimes, you get these, like, things don't really work out.
Yeah.
And
what did happen then? They just said no, or?
Well, I had tastes of this moment, but what also happened was that people were just very busy and going like from one park to the next, and like kind of like really like with kind of police and people, because there were so many, kind of like led through like the like there was like almost like no time to really stop and enjoy. It was like kind of like a tourist attraction also.
So you was playing there, and you did play, but
I did play, and
you didn't have the vision of people who was like sort of watching it.
Yeah, I did play in the parks under the cherry blossom, cherry blossom falling on the piano.
Yeah.
And but I just didn't get that same reaction. And then and in the weekdays, I actually, because I used to play a lot on the streets also, and I went on the streets and played there. Like, there were also some cherry blossom trees there, but of course different. But people were very stressed, even more than in Germany. So people go from one appointment to the other. They run through the streets, and so it was very difficult to like make them stop and enjoy
listen.
the music, and listen. So it really, for me, it was a lot of investment, a lot of work, and didn't really have the outcome that I was actually hoping for.
Yeah.
So so I went a little bit like depressed into a store called Yorubashi, a big electronic store.
Yeah.
And I knew that I had a musical department there, and went up and I already heard piano sounds. And when I hear piano sounds, I'm always like, okay, where?
I'm
following, yeah.
Like a dog sniffing something.
Totally, like, okay, and then go. So I went, and there was like an older Japanese guy sitting on like a super big like Steinway grand piano. Steinway D, like the biggest one. You've got like amazing, impressive instrument. He was playing, and he played a melody that I think it sounded kind of familiar, but I never played it. And so there was another grand piano on the side, and I sat down at that piano and started to just improvise to what he was playing. And so we had like contact, and then we like he like enjoyed it, and then we played together and did like this whole thing. And there were basically no people around except for one guy that I had only kind of noticed afterwards, and he was like, "Wow, this was amazing!" And do you have like any contact? And I had like a crushed little flyer in my pocket. The only thing I gave to him. Sorry, here, this, you can have this. And then he left, and I had a little drink with with my new piano friend. And then the next morning I wake up and I get all these messages, emails from Twitter notifications, and I hadn't even used Twitter, right? I had 30 followers, I think.
Yeah.
So really nothing. And then it turned out that this guy filmed us, put the video on Twitter, and it went viral overnight.
Wow.
And it was so crazy that it went viral. Like it kept on. I think it was already shared 100,000 times overnight. Retweeted 100,000 times overnight, and then other accounts picked it up. 9gag picked it up, and it got another 5 million views there. Or like blogs were writing about Japanese internet going crazy about this piano performance, and it was aired on TV in the morning. So I saw my videos on Japanese TV.
No way.
People were on this, like, I'm not kidding, like, I was in Kyoto, nobody knew me there, right? But people on the streets were like asking me if I was the guy from the video, and if they could take a picture with me.
No way.
It was mental. It was crazy. And yeah.
It's funny how your vision was to be in the garden, blossom trees, and like hundreds of people watching you, and then you're just in this little shop playing, and then that was the thing, right?
Exactly.
It's how funny how the universe works.
It's so funny. Yeah. And then I started to communicate with my new followers in Japanese using Google Translate.
Brilliant.
And I was like, okay, I can do one concert before I leave to Germany, so where should it be? And then half of them voted for Tokyo. I said, okay, great, Tokyo. Do you have a venue? Someone suggested a venue, so I called. It looked really beautiful. Called the venue. He was like, oh yeah, the video. Yeah, I've seen your video. Yeah, come play here. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then so that's how I ended up playing my first concert in Tokyo. Like a proper concert, little concert hall.
Yeah.
It was really incredible.
I think the message there, like what I get from that, is sometimes you've got to follow your dreams and your vision and go for it, but it might not work out exactly how you want it to do.
Right.
And then sometimes it works out 10 times better, right?
Yeah.
It works out a lot better.
Yeah.
And what about like the biggest challenges that you have? I mean, apart from the obvious, carrying a piano around, like are there any other sort of challenges, or is it that mainly it's just the weight or the heaviness or the size of the piano? Because if I'm honest, right, I'm going back to the UK next week, depending on when these guys are watching the video, but I'm traveling back to the UK to see my family. And I'm only taking a little rucksack because I just don't like carrying bags through customs and all of that.
Totally.
Carrying a piano taking a piano blows my mind. What other challenges do you face? Have you ever lost it? Has it ever been dropped, or like everyone like confiscated the piano?
Well, I did face a lot of challenges when I was playing on the streets because, for me it was a great way to expose myself to like make people know about my project and about the music. And I recorded 3 albums, so it was a good way to like showcase my music and then sell my album right away on the streets. It was actually worked really well. And but there were then you have to also deal with police, with shop owners, and mostly with like city police. And especially also Germany, it's quite strict. So I used to play a lot in German cities and many different cities, and yeah, there's all these rules that you have to stick to, and they are basically, if you really stick to all the rules, you can already you can just drop it because the rules are too strict, actually, to make it worthwhile. So you have to break the rules, okay?
Yeah, and I like that, breaking rules.
Yeah, and I think that's also like, sometimes you just have to break the rules a little bit to get somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was definitely a challenge. And then because you're breaking the rules, you get in confrontation with them, and then you have to like find ways around it and like be a bit cheeky and sneaky to like make it work. Yeah,
I think this is why I love living on Koh Phangan, because it's just like ever since I was a kid, I've always been breaking rules. Just like living on Koh Phangan, there's so much freedom. Like Thailand for me, obviously there's things going on, like there is in the whole world, and we have to deal with visas and silly things like that.
Right.
But for the gains that you get for that little bit of silliness, like it's like the rules just don't exist over here in a way, and I love it so much.
Totally.
Yeah.
And for us Germans, we like to stick to the rules. It's so deeply ingrained in us, and it's hard like sometimes to understand like, oh, wait a second, maybe I don't have to. All the way, maybe there's a way around.
I've got a few German friends actually, and being very stereotypical, like they are like, yep, got to be on time, Brett, make sure you're there. And I'm like, whoa, chill, guys. Which is funny because you was a little bit late for the podcast, which I love. This is brilliant. It was like, make sure he's here. So going back to your book though, Joe, I mean, obviously I can't read it because it's in German. It'd be amazing if you did have an English version of it for people that would read. But if anybody does want to get it, they can get it obviously in German.
Yeah, maybe there's someone who
could translate.
Yeah, exactly. Because I have the rights, but I need to still publish it.
Get it published. That'd be amazing. What does the book? I mean, I'm guessing it's like it talks about your journey of traveling, and it tells stories as you travel. What's the book about?
It's true. Yeah, it's like basically a collection of like all the stories that I have experienced, including the Japan story, but also my way to actually make this work and like overcome my doubts and fears.
Brilliant.
To actually. To get there, like because there wasn't an easy journey, and I think it's important to like let people know, because it's not always as easy as it may seem. So and a lot of people are, as you also mentioned, might be stuck in these limiting beliefs, or think that there's only this one way. So that was important for me to really show them, hey, I was there, and it wasn't easy, and I didn't think that was possible. So it took me time, and it took me actually like a few years until I then really went for it and built the piano on wheels. So from that idea that I told you in like maybe on the round the world travel, that was maybe 2007. Then I went to Bali 2009, and from that, when that really, even when the mind map was clear, at that moment I was studying tourism management, and so I came home and I was like, should I stop the studies and like just do this? But again, like I was like, no, maybe it's better I finish the studies first. And also I enjoyed it. I had great friends there, and I was going to spend 1 year in Latin America, and so I finished that, and that means that I didn't start really with that project until 2012, which was like a few years later from the idea.
So you had the idea, and then a few years later you kind of put it into action or created the piano.
Yeah, together with my dad.
Amazing.
Building wheels under the piano and like make it. Yeah.
That's a great dad, right? It's like encouraging him to go for his son to go for it. I love that.
Yeah, totally. And getting a camper van, and then getting the piano into the camper van with ramps, and
brilliant.
Yeah. So the first time when I had the van, I put the piano inside, and I started to drive. I was like looking behind me. Wow, the piano is still here. I'm driving my own van with my fucking piano in the back,
Amazing,
And just like that moment was like so fucking epic, because I knew like, wow, now I did it. Now I can go anywhere. I can go anywhere. I can play my music anywhere, and change moments, and like help create beautiful moments, basically. No matter where.
Take me back to that first time you did your first piano, when you traveled around with the piano. Where did you pull up? How many people turned up? How did that feel when you did your first one?
Well, the very first one was literally the day when we finished it. So what I did, because I didn't even have the van back then, so I just took it out basically in my neighborhood. So from my little basement, we had like a ramp that went to the basement, put up the piano and drove it around the corner to like a little marketplace. and then just started to play there and like see how that felt, you know.
How did it feel?
I mean, I was so excited and also nervous at the same time, because I was like, oh no, all these people like looking at me like, what is this dude doing there, like pushing his piano through the streets, you know? Like
A bit self-conscious, right?
I felt self-conscious,
Yeah.
and at the same time I was like, wow, this has been my dream for so long, and now it's like it's starting to become reality. So at the same time I was like, fuck it, I don't care what anybody thinks, this is my dream, so I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And then I just started to play there, you know, people started to gather, and it was very new for me, this feeling, but yeah, it was good, you know. There were like like a dozen people, you know, standing around, people going and leaving and changing, and I put my hat there, you know, people starting to put like money there.
That's
and
amazing.
It was just like, yeah, it was beautiful.
Busking.
Yeah, exactly. And it was never my plan to be a busker. I wanted to take my piano on my travels, and then somehow, because it's kind of obvious, I went into this kind of like busker thing and busker community, and started to meet other buskers, which was interesting, and you know, getting to know their lifestyles, like super interesting, inspiring people often, and you know, also the kind of out of the system, out of the box, you know. And it was also interesting because I had 2 degrees, the one from BMW and the one from university, you know. With 2 degrees, I went and played piano music on the streets. Can you imagine? Like, it's, you know, a lot of people think like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, you have 2 degrees and now you play music on the streets.
On the street.
Yeah.
With a hat.
Yeah, exactly. And so this felt a little bit weird for me as well, but again, it was like, no, but this is what I really enjoy doing, and I see the potential in this, and you know, I see all the things that I can do from that.
Yeah, and I think that point that you're making there is like, if we've been so brainwashed or manipulated, however we want to label it, you know, to live in a certain way, to do a certain thing, whether it's a sort of a job, or get some degrees and like follow that path until you die, you know, and get a mortgage in your hometown and live in this little. And if you're happy doing that, that's amazing. Like, enjoy it. But for anybody probably watching this podcast, you know, chances are you probably have something that's inside you, and you kind of like, and I love that you've said that you've gone for it, but it still felt weird because your conditioning was still like, whoa, what am I, like, you know, or your friends or your family or whoever's like, what are you doing? You're sitting on the street playing a piano when you could be in this, like, you know. But that would never bring you happiness if you denied playing that piano, right? Because you said you just felt, I enjoy it, this is my dream, I'm going for it. I don't think you can ever, even if you don't become successful, it doesn't matter. It's not about where you're going to be and the success, it's about you're doing something that's inside you, and you can't really let that go. Or I think I see people that let that go and don't follow it, they're just not happy. And it's like, well, it is pretty obvious. Like, you've got one life, enjoy it. There's something in you, go for it.
Absolutely.
For me, it's fascinating to listen to your story about like you're wheeling your piano out, you know, from your basement, and you're moving it around to like the street corner or wherever it was in the market, and you're playing in Germany with a hat. I imagine it wasn't weather like it is here in Thailand, right? Because I've seen you 3 times on Copenhagen. Well, I've seen you lots of times, but I've seen you play 3 times. One was at the Temple, which was like, blew my mind. I was like, this is incredible. The other time was at a concert in Sunset Hill, which you obviously was organised, and there was a Facebook group. So I took a friend and we sat down. There was a swimming pool. Joe's playing at the sunset. Again, it's just, you have to actually see it to believe how special your events are. But there was another time where I was exactly like you, because I love the piano and I'm trying to practice it myself.
Cool, yeah.
But I was just walking down the road in Shritanu, and I kind of come off the back street and I walk towards Happy Beach. I think it's Happy Beach, the one next to Zen Beach. And I could just hear this piano playing on the beach. And I'm like, what on earth is that? I thought somebody had a really loud radio or they was playing the music. And then I just saw a crowd sitting down and everyone's got their mobile phones out. And there's you on the beach playing the piano. And it just blew me away. And I felt like the dog sniffing. I was like, where's the piano? Where's the music? And then I realised it was Joe. And then you're on the beach playing the piano, which... it just blows me away that there's a piano on the beach and a guy like you, and you play so beautifully and so well.
Thank you.
What makes you want to share that with people? Like, why do you do it?
Well, I went all the way. Like, I kind of like followed your story now, like from the places you saw me. So I kind of went all the way in there, and I had a lot of thoughts like coming up when you just shared that. For me, there's a lot of heart and beauty in music in general, and what I feel people need is get into them into their feelings more. I'm not even excluding myself. So I think we are so like numbed down by like society and jobs and like everything that's happening and stress, like people are so busy, like everybody has such a busy lifestyle. I don't even know how people do it, like children and jobs and like household to take care of and all that stuff. It's almost like not possible to do. So what I feel I need for myself is also what I want to offer to others. It's like take a moment, take a breath, go out into nature, and do something beautiful. Listen to something beautiful. Listen to nature and listen to beautiful piano sounds. And for me, there's so much beauty in combining that. Because I love nature. Like it's just like God is out there, for us to see all around us, right? If we're open to see it, it's like. It's incredible the creations that are made that we just take for granted, right? Including ourselves. Like we are amazing beings, so capable of doing things. So I want to. That's over the years I started to like stop the busking because it was so stressful. It was still like in that stressful environment. So I wanted to take people into nature, and so that's when I started to do nature concerts. Invite you guys, come into nature, this beautiful place. I will play my piano. We'll all have like magic moments or a couple magic moments together and like really like sink in and like feel and let the music and the nature inspire us and also calm us down. And and this is also what people are mirroring to me, that like people get ideas during the concert, or like they like, wow, tears are flowing, like because they get in connection with maybe loved ones or even them more themselves. And so for me that's really like, that's kind of my passion, what I love to bring to the world, and with the help of the piano as of that instrument, like bring people into nature and into reconnection.
I love that, man. I never knew that. I mean, as you're saying that, my whole body is a goosebump. Like I can feel my arms tingling because I think the word that I got from that was magic, the magic moment. Every time I've seen you, it's been... There's a great quote, I can't remember who said it, but like when you remember you're dreaming in the dream, you can wake up. And to me, life is just a dream.
Yeah.
And when you remember you're dreaming, you're like, oh, wow, I create my reality. Intention creates reality, as the Buddha said, what you think you become.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I see your pianos, or I've been to your concerts and I hear you, or I'm just walking down the beach and there you are playing, like it's like a miracle. It is like a magical moment where you hear the birds more, you feel the sand on your feet, you breathe a little bit slower, and you just see other people just in, like you say, just joy or tears, and everybody's just listening to this music, and you're channeling that for us or through you, and it is a magical moment, man. But I never knew the story behind why you did it, and this is why I wanted to invite you on the podcast, because I knew traveling around with a piano isn't bloody easy, right? You got to go, but there must be a reason why you want to do that. Do you feel like that's what you needed for yourself then as well? I think you mentioned that you just want to come back to God, to nature, to life, the miracle, and remember it just as much as everyone else. Yeah,
I think there's a lot to that we can. I feel like I hope I can give something back to nature, as well. Like, we are all getting so much from it, and I can also give the music.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful also because often you can feel nature react. You hear the birds suddenly chirping with a melody or something, and then because I love to improvise as well, so I just I will start to like pick up the melody from the bird or something.
No way.
So
you're playing with nature.
Exactly, or when I play on the beach and the waves, so you have like this continuous like wave sound. So I take that into the music. Like I wait for maybe a second more until the wave comes or just goes, and it kind of like incorporate that into it, so it all becomes like one creation.
So like nature is literally your band, your backup band.
It is.
I love that.
It is. I said it in my last concert. Thanks for the bird orchestra.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Yeah. And then you have what is they called, the crickets? The
Cascade. I can't even pronounce it.
Yeah.
Cicada.
Cicadas.
That's it. Cicadas. Yeah, they make that high pitched noise, right?
Exactly. So you have that as well, and then it's wow. You have like nature.
That's
orchestra.
Amazing, man.
Yeah.
I remember going to Germany, actually, Berlin, to listen to Ludovico Einaudi. Yeah, he'd been a hero of mine for years.
Yeah.
When I first listened to him, like, it's so emotional, and I loved the track called Life. And anyway, I remember going to Berlin. I literally travelled there just to listen to him. That was the only reason why I went, just to go to his.
Which year was it? Do you remember?
Oh, I can't remember. It was, a few years back now. It was an outdoor concert, and there was like the chairs were going up, and he was by the trees. Was you there?
I'm fucking getting goosebumps now.
No way.
Yeah, it was in the Waldbühne. Is that possible? Like really big place, like thousands of people.
Ridiculous, yeah.
And like the sun going down behind the trees.
And then the birds were literally, the reason why I'm saying, because me too, I can feel it. And the birds were literally playing with him, and it was like, I was like, is this real? It was so beautiful.
So this is in my vision.
Hello, you amazing viewer. I hope you're enjoying this video, and I've got some really exciting news for you. You know that moment when you're reading a book and it just ignites that light bulb moment for you? It wakes something up inside you, that passion, that enthusiasm, or that spark for life. Well, the big announcement is my new book, Awaken Your Spirit, is ready for either pre-order or, depending on when you're watching this book, you can order your copy right now. Over the last couple of years, I've poured my heart and soul into writing Awaken Your Spirit. I don't know about you, but sometimes that voice inside the head just never seems to shut up. Well, this book shows you a step-by-step process on how to really close your eyes and go inside and separate from this monkey mind and this never-ending conversation that goes round and round and round. Whether you're seeking inner peace, you're looking to recharge your batteries, or you want to feel more grounded and in harmony with life, this book has got something for you, and it's going to show you how to connect to a very deeper level within you. Now, I don't want to keep any more of your time. Get back to the interview. And again, if you're somebody that really is looking to get back in the driving seat of your life, master this monkey mind, reach your full potential, and ignite that excitement, that enthusiasm, and that passion for life, make sure you awaken your spirit just below. Have an amazing day and enjoy the rest of the video.
I want to play in this spot before I leave this earth. I'm going to play in this.
It's done. Yeah, we're high-fiving. Yeah. Congratulations. It's done.
And because this is basically it's a nature concert, but it's in a concert space.
Yes.
It is a concert venue. So that's what I want to say. But in a beautiful nature venue. And so we actually just missed each other because I didn't know he was playing there. Someone told me. And then I was like, oh, this is great. I knew that it has the capacity of 20,000 people.
Wow.
And I think it was pretty full. So I was like, this is amazing. There's 20,000 people who love piano music, and people often compare my style of music to his style of music. So I was like, okay, 20,000 people loving basically also the music that I do, similar, I was like, okay, great. I'm going to get my piano and going to wait for all the people to come out of the concert and play a little after concert in front of the stadium.
Brilliant.
And I actually wanted to do it before, but then there was rain coming and I couldn't do it, and it's the logistics sides, right? So I had to wait. I bought a ticket for the show from someone who was selling them there, and I went to see the show, but left early. Went to my van, pulled out my piano, brought it in front of the stadium, and then people were starting to come out of the concert, and I started to play. And that was also a very interesting moment because I started to play, and then nobody was interested. Like, people were just passing by, like they were running, there was like running, nobody stopped, and I felt like, I was like, what am I doing here? I'm playing in front of somebody else's concert, it's weird, and people are not even interested, and what the hell am I doing, And then, so I was like close to cry. I was like close to stop, just stop playing and just put my piano back in the car. But then I was like inside. I was like, whatever. And if everybody have left, I will just stay here and play piano, even if nobody's interested, and all 20,000 people will have passed me. So I just stayed and played, and slowly someone stopped. Second person stopped. Another person stopped, and then suddenly I had this big circle of people, around the piano, and they were loving it, they were applauding, and that moment lasted for maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the police came.
And then back to the rules.
Exactly, back to the rules. And they were like, you can't play here, neighbors, complaints, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, great. And so I stood up and I told the people, hey, I'm so sorry, I would love to play more. It was a beautiful moment. Thank you all for so much. And well, if you want to take the music home, and I can't play for you, but I have my albums here, And then I sold so many albums that night, yeah. And it was beautiful. Like it was a beautiful moment. And again, it showed how important it is to show consistency.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting from you a lot. I think we all have this imposter syndrome somewhere. Like you have a dream, you want to be a life coach, or you want to do podcasts and YouTube, or you want to travel around the world and play a piano. There's going to be this imposter syndrome or this voice that comes up in the head, like, who am I to do that, or am I good enough, or whatever. We've all got these stories and voices. But what I'm hearing from you and your journey is that you kept on going, and there is also another voice in you. I don't know if this is true. I'm just asking, that says, well, just play one more and we'll see what happens, or if just one person. So like, how would you say to people, including me, because I'm just curious to know myself, how do we get that other voice, the good voice, on board? Or is it just can we meditate every day and find that voice? Can we just listen deeply to that wisdom within and recognize that there's an ego or a conversation that's kind of talking us out of it? How do you do that? And what would you say to people to follow their dreams, basically?
Yeah, it's not an easy one. So, for me, I think the most important part is when you think about something you want to do, that it seems maybe out of your reach, but just thinking about it gives you like full body chills.
Yeah.
And then that's like your universe like responding to like your idea, and it's like, wow, this is like, if that could be possible, this would be so amazing,
Yeah.
And I think we often like then neglect that moment and that feeling, and like, oh yeah, but it's not possible. Oh no, it's not. But I think that's where the magic is, like to really like hold your breath for a second and like acknowledge that feeling, and because I think to get that feeling and is rare. Is rare to really think about something you want to do, and to get that your body response. That would be so fucking epic.
Yeah.
That would be possible. So to really cherish that moment, and not brush it off, and really then if you take that response from your body as a reason to really explore that idea, and how you can bring that into life.
I love that, man. That's funny. I was literally having a conversation the other day. Like, everybody knows we live in some kind of system that kind of is actually conditioning us and training us to believe that stress, fear, this kind of low self-worth, insecure, all of this is normal anxiety. And so we are literally conditioned from a neurological way, like pathways in our brain, to feel that, and now it's normal. Yeah. So when you do feel the goosebumps or the inspiration or an insight from the universe, we do either brush it off and go, oh, that's not possible. And what I was saying to my friend is that I wake up every day before I even get out of that bed and before I sit up and do my meditation, I'm just like, holy crap. Like, you are on a rock spinning in space. That same power that created like a universe, that created a rainforest, that created like all the trees and everything out there, that same power is you. It's in you somewhere. And like, why would you doubt yourself? Like, why would you listen to this system that's kind of built on fear and greed?
Absolutely.
Like, get into that. And so I was saying it to my friend, and what I was saying to my friend is like, I don't do that just to feel good. I'm literally trying to do that to condition myself to believe that that's a normal way. And I truly believe that's the normal way we should be living.
Right.
Like, wow, this is a miracle. Like you say, nature is incredibly abundant.
Yeah.
Let's all just sing and play and do the things that we love and share that. And I know it might be a bit naive, but I think the world could be a bit better off if we had that attitude. So,
sure.
But I am actually conditioning myself to do that. And I kid you not, Joe, I went for a walk this morning, literally walking up. Now I can switch it on like that. Like, I look and I'm like, and all now I can feel it because I've trained myself for like years, beautiful. Not overnight, but for years of like, just like a boxer going into the gym or someone doing their muscles and learning that. Like, if we can condition our vibration for more joy, for more excitement, for more miracles, what a great, not only what a great life would we have, but what a great world could we all share with each other, right? So I really appreciate that answer, because it's I think it's so true, man. Like, don't just brush that moment off when you have a spurt of inspiration or a crazy idea to take a huge piano around the world, or you meet a lady at a bar or whatever, and she says, that's a great idea, go for it. She was like the universe encouraging you to go for that. But most of us might go, oh, she was weird, or nah, don't be silly, that's not possible. And then we just stay stuck in these little rat races, you know?
Totally. So we kind of, so I think what you do is good by conditioning yourself, because we don't maybe rely as much on the outside world to always gives us this support, you know?
Yeah.
If we can do it ourselves.
Yeah, we could feel it.
Even better.
So Joe, I'm so grateful, mate. Like there was some questions and answers there that I didn't expect to come out. Like, one of them was why you do it, and I love it that you want to bring people back out into nature and back into the miracle of life. And from the bottom of my heart, every time I've seen one of your concerts, like that's exactly how I would describe it.
Oh, amazing!
Wow. I'm on a rock in multiple universes, and there's a man playing the piano, my heart feels alive. And I can see it in everyone else's faces, so thank you for sharing your gift. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Thank you, yeah.
I know there's something top secret coming up, so you might not be able to share that. And we actually have Joe's dog here as well, or a dog, Ravi, right?
Yeah, she's my dog, Ravi.
Ravi. Absolutely beautiful.
Ravi, come here.
I know something's top secret because Antonio, the cameraman, and Joe won't tell me. But what's next? Like, is there? I know you don't want to share it exactly, but is there something coming out that you got in the pipeline? What would you be doing next with the piano?
Yes, there will be some very special nature concerts coming up.
Yeah.
I think I can't tell too much already now at this moment, but I'm very excited.
Any more books?
Very excited about that. If people want to, they can sign up to my mailing list, because that's where I'm going to send it out.
Okay, yeah.
Once it's all done.
Yeah.
But books, no book for now. But I'm also working on some new music, and definitely the nature concerts. There's definitely something coming that will also be possible to witness, even if you're not in that space. On the other side of the world.
Yeah. Shh, don't tell everything. So people can come to, if you've got a website or an Instagram, because like I honestly, if anyone's listening and you guys follow us and you listen to our podcast, like please go and listen to Joe's music. It's so beautiful and heart opening. So where can I go and buy your album? Where can we get the book? Have you got some stuff we can follow? Yeah, so
mytravelingpiano.com is my website. You'll find me also on Facebook, My Traveling Piano, and Instagram, same name. And Spotify, you can stream my music. I, of course, in my shop, I still sell old school CDs for people who still, listen to them. And we send them out to the world from Germany. Spotify is, easy way to stream. My YouTube, there's a couple of videos there as well, and
allmytravelingpiano.com.
All My Traveling Piano, and on my website there's all the links.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll put your links underneath the video as well. So if anyone's listening, just click below. But just one last final question to the young man that's got a guitar, or he's got a dream, or a piano, or he's just trying to change, or woman, sorry, anyone that's at home listening, where you was 10 years ago, what bit of advice would you say to them to follow that dream?
Yeah, just keep following the dream and keep following the goosebumps.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great way to end it. Thank you for your time, Joe. I really appreciate that, mate.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Hello viewers, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm hoping that you enjoyed it just as much as we enjoyed making it. We love this adventure we're on, we love growing this community, and we would love you to actually help us. So I've got a favor to ask you. Make sure that you subscribe below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and turn that notification button on, because that actually helps us with the algorithm. In other words, it's going to help us reach more people and spread this ripple effect. And I really appreciate your time and energy for watching any video. So if you've got any comments or questions or queries, make sure you pop them in the box below. By subscribing, you are going to be one of the first people to know when we release new content. If you really want to take your journey and your growth to the next level, make sure you watch this next video and have an amazing day. Once again, thank you so much for your time and your energy. See you in the next video.